Hi, today in this YouTube video we are going to discuss about log4j framework. Apache log4j is a Java-based logging utility originally written by this guy Siki Gulku. So I want to explain what is the use of this log4j. We all know whenever we are developing applications, right? We will build a very complex applications. Then establishing a logging framework for that application is a crucial thing. You have to build very good application at the same time. Building a logging framework is really required when you want to troubleshoot the application. Sometimes your application may goes down or may not work due to some issues or some exceptions, errors. So that time you want to track we want to track the issues, exceptions, where exactly they are going to happen. So those things can only be known by the logging framework. So you can see Apache log4j was written in Java. You can see it is hugely used framework for the Java applications. And if you see any application, you can never imagine any application without Java framework, log4j or logging framework, any logging framework. So log4j is one of the frameworks it will be used for creating a logging framework in the Java based applications. It can be web application, it can be enterprise application, whatever it is. You can see here there's so many applications. So I want to explain some of the features here. So generally you can see here there are some features where you can actually enable these features. Whenever you set level equal to off, this is highest possible rank, you intended to turn off logging. So if you don't want to show any logs, right, then we will use we will set the logging framework off. Okay, that property we will set it as off level. So when we set that level as off, then it will turn off the logging. And the fatal, error level is the fatal. Whenever if you set the log level, severity level, you can see fatal means the error is very severe. That means the error would cause the termination of the application running. The application can no longer run because of some exception, some issue. Then that kind of state level is called fatal level issue. So all these states, all these severities we can actually specify in the logging framework. Whenever you are going to configure logging framework, right, you need to configure these levels as well. So fatal is it indicates the state where the application can no longer run because of the severe errors. So error can be so this is another level, error level. So generally we will get runtime error, unexpected conditions. Those kind of errors will be represented by the error level. So there is a warning level. You see here, warning level. Use of deprecated API. Generally, the application will not stop or will not, that will not goes down because of these warnings. Generally, we will specify the warnings whenever there is some issue, but that has to be rectified in future. But that is not causing any issue right now. So that kind of things we will mark them as a warnings. Basically, these are the warnings. We will just specify the warning. It is just a warning, not an error or a fatal error. It won't cause any trouble to application. It's just a warning. Another thing is info. Info means you want to provide the information about a certain application, so information, right, you want to provide the information how the request is floating or propagating between multiple services, among multiple services, and are there any memory issues, are there any CPU spike issues. So you will get to know all these details by using info level. If you set the info level, you can only set the info level wherever it is required for the application tracking. You want to track the progress, how the application is starting and running, whether it is causing any issues and how the request is propagating. You want to know all these details, right? That time you can use the info. The debug, basically you use the debug whenever you want to debug the application. You see, sometimes you want to debug the exception, issues, errors, then you will enable the debugging, right? The log level. So trace is another, you want to trace the information in more detailed way. That time you use the trace. Actually you can see the logs in a detailed way. So these are the things. Actually log4j can be configured, can be configured in XML, JSON, YAML file, properties file. If you are going to use Spring Boot, right, you can configure in a property file. If you are using struts or Spring, you can use XML configuration. So you can do that. So the actual outputs are done by appenders. Generally you will specify the appenders, means you want to write down all these logs to specified location in a file. Then the appenders would be useful for you, where you can actually provide the path of particular file path, and where you can write all these logs and all. You can also specify the filters. All these things would be useful. You can see here, for example, get class dot get resource of, we are providing log4j2.xml. The log4j2.xml, you can see what is that XML will contain. You can see we are configuring the log4j using XML file. You can see the file should be stored in target/test.log file. And what is that we are going to print? Console details, right? Console name equal to standard out. We specified that. And you can also specify the pattern in which way the log should be displayed. So %d, %p, you can say %c, and all these details are just a pattern. How you can print the first the timestamp should be printed, and after that the log details, the text should be printed. All these formats you can actually specify in this configuration file. The configuration file is basically used to specifying what is the log file, what is the pattern that you want to print the logs, provide the logs, and appenders also, as I told you, right? Where these files should be stored. You can actually specify all these details. By default, all log messages of level trace, higher level will be logged. Log messages are sent to the file appender, and the log messages of level error and high level will be sent to the standard output. You can see here, this is an example. Okay, so this is the simple example how the log4j can be used along with your application. You can see many examples in Spring Boot also. If you want, I just explained the basic information and what are the different levels of the logs. You can see here the Apache log4j is a greatly used framework for all applications. Most of the applications they use logs. I hope this video will be useful for you all. Thank you for listening.